Good morning. This is the July 27, 2023 Legislative Committee meeting. I'm the chair, Joe Rosenbaum. I'd like to open this meeting now. The CBA has provided the opportunity for the public to participate via the WebEx platform. When we take public comments, we'll begin by taking public comment from those individuals attending the meeting at the Sacramento location here. I will then ask the moderator to open up the lines for any other public comment. As we have Mr. Jacobson participating at a noticed alternate location, I would, but I've been informed, however, that there are no members at his location.
That continues to be correct, Joe.
Thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Reed, could you help us establish a quorum?
Nancy Corrigan.
Nancy Corrigan, present.
Dan Jacobson.
Here.
Tony Lynn. Joe Rosenbaum.
Here.
Yen Tu.
Here.
And Evangeline Ward.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. The CBA's mission is to protect consumers by ensuring only qualified licensees practice public accountancy in accordance with established professional standards. This mission is derived from the statutory requirement that protection of the public shall be the highest priority for the California Board of Accountancy in exercising its licensing, regulatory, and disciplinary functions. Whenever the protection of the public is inconsistent with other interests sought to be promoted, the protection of the public shall be paramount. So, first item on our agenda this morning are any public comments for items not on the agenda. Do we have any public comments here in Sacramento? Seeing none, moderator, are there any public comments attending on the WebEx?
This is the moderator. I am opening up the Q&A. It is now open. The instructions are on the screen. If you would like to participate and have logged in, click on the question mark inside of the square, type comment, and send it to all panelists. If you're calling in, press *3 from your phone to raise your virtual hand. At this time, there are no requests. Would you like me to close the Q&A feature?
Yes, please. Thank you very much. Let's move on to item number 2, which is the approval of the minutes of the May 18, 2023 Legislative Committee meeting. Do any of our members wish to make a motion to approve? Yes.
Good morning. Yes, I would like to make a motion to approve May minutes.
And a second?
Yes, and I will second that motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll now open it up for public comment. Are there any comments from the public here in Sacramento? Seeing none, moderator, can you see if there are any comments attending on the WebEx?
Yes, this is the moderator. If you are calling in and would like to participate in public comment, press *3 from your phone to raise your virtual hand. The instructions are on the screen for those who potentially log in. At this time, I see no request for public comment. Would you like me to close the Q&A?
Yes, please. Okay, with no further public comment, can we take the vote, Ms. Reed?
Nancy Corrigan.
Yes.
Dan Jacobson.
Yes.
Joe Rosenbaum.
Yes.
Yen Tu.
Yes.
And Evangeline Ward.
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Okay, great. Let's move on to item number 3, which is a written report. It's the California Board of Accountancy's 2023 Legislative Tracking Chart, the legislative calendar, and considerations for taking positions on legislation. There are no action items on this, but this is for your information. Moving on to agenda item number 4, an update, discussion, and possible action on legislation in which the California Board of Accountancy has taken a position or previously acted upon, and I'll turn it over to Deanne Pierce, the Assistant Executive Officer.
Thank you, Chair Rosenbaum. So this item is to provide the Board of Accountancy an update and opportunity for discussion on legislative proposals which the CBA has already taken a position or previously considered. There have been no substantive edits to Senate Bill 887, so I'll focus my presentation to Senate Bills 372, 544, and 816. Senate Bill 372 is a bill addressing dead naming and how boards should display licensee name and/or gender changes on the website. The CBA has not taken a position on the bill, but did direct that a letter be sent to the author's office expressing the CBA's consumer protection concerns with the April 20, 2023 version of the bill. That letter is included in your materials as attachment 2. The bill was amended on June 28th, and these amendments largely address the concerns expressed by the CBA and provide additional clarification to consumers and can obtain the information necessary to make an informed decision when selecting a CPA. The amendments direct that if a licensee was previously subject to an enforcement action referencing the individual's former name, the board is to post an online statement on its license lookup feature directing the public to contact the board for more information. The bill is currently in the Assembly Appropriations Committee, and I'll turn it back over to the chair. I'm happy to answer any questions, and if there are none, I can move on to Senate Bill 544.
Any questions on Senate Bill 372? Let's move on.
Thank you. Senate Bill 544 would amend the Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act related to how a state body conducts a meeting by teleconference. The bill would require state bodies to provide an opportunity for the public to address a state body, ensure the state body implements procedures to accommodate and resolve requests from individuals with disabilities, cease or recess meetings when technical issues are identified, and provide transparency for those participating remotely by requiring the disclosure of other individuals 18 years of age and older who are present. Following its hearing in the Assembly Government Organization Committee, there are pending amendments which will be taken in mid-August before the bill gets to the Appropriations Committee. The amendments that are going to be taken in are adding a repeal date to these provisions, and then also requiring that a majority of the members of the body be present at a location. So we have a support position on this bill, and I'll turn it back over to the chair. I'm happy to answer any questions, or if there are no questions, I can move on to the next bill.
Does anyone on the committee have any questions regarding Senate Bill 544? Seeing none, let's continue.
Thank you. So Senate Bill 816 was amended on June 27th to include our fee proposal language that the CBA approved a support position on at its May 2023 meeting. The bill was amended again on July 12th, but those didn't relate to the CBA. The measure is currently in the Assembly Appropriations Committee, and I recommend the CBA maintain their support position. No action is required, and I'm happy to answer any questions the members may have.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions on Senate Bill 816? Okay, seeing none.
Okay.
And then do you want to touch on 887?
887 has, I'll just mention it briefly, Chair. These contain our non-substantive edits that the board approved earlier in the year, and they're moving through with no opposition, so there's been no update on these.
Okay, thank you very much. And before we move on to the next agenda item, welcome, Tony. We have a new member joining our committee meeting at this time. Oh, before we move on from, excuse me, before we move on from item number 4, do we have any public comment on the update, discussion, and possible action on these 4 legislative actions? Seeing none in Sacramento, moderator, can you open up the WebEx to see if we have any comments?
Yes, this is the moderator. The Q&A is open. The instructions will be on the screen shortly. If you are calling in and would like to participate in public comment, press *3 from your phone to raise your virtual hand. At this time, there are no requests. Would you like me to close the Q&A feature?
Yes, please. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 4. Again, Ms. Pierce, this is the review and possible consideration of positions on legislation that the CBA is currently monitoring, and there are quite a number here.
Yes, thank you so much. There are 10 bills that are working their way through the legislature that the CBA is currently monitoring under this agenda item. If any of these bills evolve into legislation that directly impacts us, we'll prepare an analysis and present it at a subsequent meeting. I have no specific bills to highlight under this agenda item, and I'll turn it back over to the chair.
Okay, thank you. Is there any public comment on agenda item number 5? Any here in Sacramento? Seeing none, moderator, could you open up the WebEx to see if we have any public comment?
Yes. Moderator, Q&A is open. Instructions on the screen. If you are calling in, you can press *3 to raise your virtual hand. No requests at this time. Would you like me to close the Q&A?
Yes, please. Thank you, and thank you, Ms. Pierce, for all of those updates. Next item on the agenda is any agenda items for the next meeting. Do we have anyone that would like to suggest any agenda items for our next meeting? Okay, none from the committee. Any from the public here in Sacramento? Moderator, could you open up the WebEx to see if we have any suggestions for agenda items for our next meeting from the public?
Yes, the Q&A is now open. The instructions are on the screen for your reference. If you are calling in, you can press *3 to raise your virtual hand. No requests at this time. Would you like me to close the Q&A?
Yes, thank you. Well, that then concludes the legislative committee meeting for today. Thank you very much.